never really experienced it, seen it, or really just dealt with it. Well, let's just start off with different types of snow. There's the cold and dry stuff, very fine. It sticks together very well, and it usually comes with dumping. Now, the snow itself can have traction. Snow itself is not slick. Snow is only slick when people start driving over it and start compacting it down. So they drive over it, the water gets squeezed out, and then the water gets pushed out to the road, and then refreezes on the surface, turns into ice. Now that doesn't mean just because I say snow isn't slick that you should go hauling, ass like it's dry. But how do you make a snowball? You pretty much, you grab a lot of snow and you just compact it down into your hand. Snow sticks together, but you squeeze the water out. Same thing. Your tires, especially winter tires, are really great at this. This is why winter tires make the snow way less slick than what it is. All-terrain tires do almost a good job, but generally you'll drive over. Regular all seasons won't do a great job. Most trucks are just general tires. And then there's the wet, heavy snow, which this snow can do a lot of damage. It is slick. It's very thick. So your tires have to work harder to drive through this stuff, which means this is usually where the accidents happen, and it's this type of snow. In between the two types of snow, this is snow that gets people because you can, just because you're running on dry snow, all of a sudden you can literally cross like a little invisible line, and you're hitting heavy, wet, soggy snow, and your tires aren't ready for it, or you're not ready for it, and you spin out, or you catch it and it throws you off the road, because the snow will do that. It will grab your tires and it will throw you. Same thing with ice. Ice does the same thing. And then you also got to worry about too, especially right now, this time of year, that if it's raining and then it starts snowing, it's going to be slick, not right away, but as it starts freezing, the temperature starts dropping, it is at the slickest end, because it's going to be extra icy. Snow, if you're getting snow, that means you're going to have ice soon. So what can you expect of ice? Well, somebody just ran over a cooler. But with ice, there is the regular ice, or it's just people driving over, and it's just snow got clear, the ice got left on the road, or snow got driven over and squeezed all the moisture out onto the road and just froze. That ice is slick. It's not the slickest type of ice, but it is slick. You're really gonna have to get a feel for it. You're really gonna have to learn how to drive on over time. General rule of thumb is you want to go as fast as you have traction. So you want to, as soon as you know your ice, slow down. That doesn't mean you don't want to stop. You don't not want to get hard on the brakes. With ice, you don't want to get hard on the brakes. You want to be smart about how you brake. If you're heavy, you have more luxury of things, like how you do things. But ice is still going to take longer to stop on. If you're lighter, you're an ice skate. You will skate across of it a lot longer before you're finally able to slow down. But then you got the ice I fear the most, because this ice can randomly sneak up on you. You got the gloss ice. What is gloss ice? Gloss ice is ice that has a very thin coat of water on top of it, making it extra slippery. This is kind of ice. Even after you can walk across it, it still slides sideways with a gentle breeze. Like you can feel yourself being pushed. Like it's taking real effort to walk across it. This ice is the most dangerous. this ice, you really want to go slow across. You do have black ice. There is a myth saying you can't see black ice. That is true at nighttime. That is very true at nighttime, especially on asphalt like this. It's a lot deep. But you can see it if you know how to look. Because ice is still ice. It's still going to look wet. But ice is not, black ice is not visible. It will, like in this, and during days easier to see because you'll see the asphalt through it. But that's pretty much best for all forms of ice. Don't panic on ice. So let's say I'm crossing this bridge up here, okay, and it's icy. Cruise, or well, I mean, let's say the road's dry, bridge is gonna be icy. So cruise off, coast across it. So here we go, come. Make sure you're holding on to the steering wheel. You're ready to correct as soon as you come off. Because usually what happens is not going onto the bridge to get you, it's coming off the bridge to get you. See, most times it will give you a small kick. But hey, just make sure you're ready for it. Trust me, it will kick. Usually if you're going too fast, going off the bridges are just like extra icy anyways. I've gotten kicked going 30 miles an hour. So I mean, you just be ready for the kick and do not panic. But no, I mean, and like let's say like there's some random ice spot, like ice patches right here in the middle road. Okay? All you gotta do, I'm assuming right now that you're able to cruise because it's dry. It's dry with patches of ice. You see a patch of ice, drop the cruise. One button goes across it, keep the wheel straight. Ice only really becomes dangerous is if the cruise is on and then a sudden kick of RPMs. Or you're trying doing more than like a 10-degree turn. Like if you switch lanes from here to here, let's say you're driving on ice and it's just covered, like that truck just did, but heck, a little bit less. You kind of want to go, well, there wasn't a bit around there to show you, but you kind of want to ease over. Even if it takes you 200 feet to ease over, then ease back over. You know, that's like if you got to pass something or get over for something, you got to ease over and ease back over. Because as long as you're not doing some heavy turns, and you know, pretty good speeds, it's not going to grab you. But okay, so let's see here. Now, a lot of states, well, my state uses sand and salt, and Colorado uses chemicals. Believe it or not, there's a misconception that salt is always the best. Salt actually stops working, I think it's when it's colder than 15 degrees. Salt literally does nothing. It just sits there on the top of the ice and does nothing. So in terms of general overall best, the chemicals that Colorado uses, because that shit just fucking eats to the ice. But you also have ice in Colorado. Sand, then salt. Just because of how extreme temperatures can be during the winter. Now, if you're in a state that doesn't get a lot of wind, or really, you know, like, doesn't really go below 20, but it still gets snow, then yeah, salt's gonna probably be above sand. But sand doesn't really get blown off the ice like salt does if it doesn't melt through it right away. So there's some things you gotta expect. And then let's see, okay, so the winds. This is the biggest killer of people, that they come from a state where it's like 10 mile an hour wind is windy to them, and then they all of a sudden they cross the line, they're getting, you know, slapped by 60 mile an hour winds. With my current load of 14,000 pounds, I'm not driving with anything above 55 mile an hour winds, and even then, I'm going way slower than I would be now. I would not feel at ease fully. So really, at 50 mile an hour winds, I may be tempted to pull over, because I'm pretty much empty. Now if you're empty and it's above 50, just pull over. Just get off the road. You believe it or not, trailers can at a standstill be picked picked up and tossed on their side. So if that's not having 50 miles an hour, but you know, you're starting to get up there. And at 50 miles an hour, think about it this way: the faster you go, the stronger the wind is. So even 5 miles an hour makes a difference, a huge difference. Because the faster you go, the harder your vehicle's working to get through that wind, and then the wind feels going faster because you're going faster. Well, it feels like it's going faster. Overall, when the wind, the slower you go, the better. And a lot of this you're gonna have to learn as you go. You bought general thumbs, you're empty, and you're empty. It's your truck and trailer. Yeah, 33,000 or 36, depending on your weight. Well, get off the road at 50 plus. Like, get off the road. I'd probably start looking around once it gets into the mid 40s. And if you're getting pushed and constantly back and forth, you definitely want to start start finding an exit off the road. This is definitely a big thing up in Wyoming, Nebraska, Utah. There's some other states in there, but I'm not too sure. See, I grew up in Wyoming, so I got the worst case scenario all the time. And another thing is you got to worry about is this. I think this is probably the biggest red flag during winter. Is if I'm going to it's daytime, and I'm going through an area that has a lot of traffic. It's snowed, it's icy, and it's windy. And you got me, and let's say you're most likely going to have to deal with some people that never dealt with the snow or the winter conditions, from cars to trucks, and there's going to be very variable speeds. Like you can be comfortable going 50 in that condition, but another guy doesn't want to go over 35 and it creates a domino effect. Your days will take longer. So if you can do 500 miles a day, and during right now, assume you do maybe 280, 350, 400 at most in the winter if you got to deal with some traffic. Then you got some things, especially in the windy areas, you got what are called ground blizzards. And what are ground blizzards? Okay, the road could literally be like this right now, dry as hell, just windy. But all the blowing snow is making it you can't see the road. And that will happen. Wyoming's notorious for this. There can be so much blowing snow, I cannot see the wheels of that truck in front of me. Or the road, or the lanes. Now, is that dangerous to drive on? If you come across some conditions like ice and snow, so you won't know until you're up on top of it. But yeah, that can be pretty dangerous. That's not the worst blowing snow that I don't like, but it's not fun. Then you can have the ones where it puts it at head level, even on a semi. That one sucks. Especially if there's other people on the road. That one's probably the worst one. Because that is a whiteout. That's a form of whiteout too. If it's just blowing snow, if it's just blowing the snow, like it's not snowing, it is just picking snow, so you're gonna blow it at head level. Yeah, during daytime, I don't know if I'd want to be driving that. A lot of these people don't even use their headlights and taillights, and in that, too, if you're driving a whiteout, or if you're kicking a lot of snow, hazards on, just same thing with ice. If you know something's up ahead, or you're getting ready to slow down massively for something, hazards. Then it helps us. It helps everybody see. And then there's probably the most favorite whiteout of mine is the blizzard, where it's dumping snow, so much snow, and it's windy, and you just can't see. You just can't see. That's an instant get off the road. Instant. I don't care if you're loaded, because those are the ones that the pileups happening. You can still pileups anywhere else, but those ones get people. Because a lot of people pretty much most people don't understand how to drive in a blizzard. They don't. They have no experience driving in a blizzard, and it gets them immediately. Oh, can you see these snowstorms from let's say right now, dry as hell, clear as hell. Can you see the snowstorms in the background? Yes, you can. See, there's no reason, even the whiteout. go in there unprepared. The only ones even then, like, there are things called squalls. And think of squalls, okay, so like, clear sky, you know, there's not a single cloud up in the sky right now, right? But off in the background, you can see that one cloud. Just one cloud. You don't know how big it is, but that one cloud back there. Always assume that one cloud on a day like this in the winter is going to be a squall. And what a squall is, you get up under there and it just dumps on you. And I'm not talking about like it's just dumping snow like, you know, maybe an inch or two an hour. It is going to give you 4 to 8 in that hour. It dumps. Wyoming is great for this, especially up in the hills. And these ones will cover the road in a matter of a half hour to where there is inches on the road. Yeah, so, and these ones, you'll lose visibility in. At nighttime, these are probably the most dangerous at nighttime, especially because you can have wind in them too. But these ones are by far the most dangerous condition, I think, because they'll blindside most people. And it's not like, okay, it's cold, you see it like cold, you know, skies covered in the snow clouds. This is literally the only cloud in the sky, and it will dump on you like it's the biggest snowstorm of the fucking, you know, week or the month. Yeah, so there's that one. And then so let's see here. Okay, so a lot of people are too afraid to pass a plow. Now, how should you pass a plow? Let's say it's in the left lane. Okay, so the right lane's up. Because the right lane, if it's in the right lane, it's the easiest fucking thing to pass. Well, let's say in the left lane. The plow blade will override the zipper a little bit. So how should you pass the plow? Well, first, whatever speed you were going, obviously you're going faster than the plow. Slow down a little bit. The way you're going to pass this plow is going to be the bit, you want to make sure the plow isn't going to do anything, and you want to make sure you'll have plenty of room and distance, or not distance, but space, to pass this plow without crowding it. Now how do I pass them? I slow down about 10, let's say they're going 45, and I'm going 55. I slow about 10, natural speed, then I get over all the way onto the shoulder. I'm straddling it. That way I get about 4 to 5, 6 feet. I'm straddling the shoulder. And then I start picking up the speed. Now why do I slow down? Because I don't know if I'm gonna, you know, if there's gonna be a pitch of ice. I don't know if the shoulder's gonna kick me or something as soon as I get on it. I don't know. So if I master speed, I have no chance of hitting it. And then I start easing back onto it, passing. You don't want to rush by a plow, because what happens if all of a sudden you rush by that plow, you know, a big slap of wind gets you, and you know, you end up losing traction, and you kick into that plow. That's pretty much career ruin, because the plows are considered emergency vehicles. And then okay, let's say you're driving. I don't know why I keep trying to say hauling ass. I'm trying to remember. I gotta talk to people like people about snow and winter conditions like they've never driven in it before. I'm trying to remember that while talking like from my experience. And my experience is 19 years in Wyoming. I put a lot of my experience because I've driven through everything and I have a clean record. I've done 9 years of driving jobs. Tow trucks, medical courier. Medical courier was 3.5 years doing 100,000 miles plus a year at night on winter. Or at night in Wyoming. So then they call it winter, and all of wildlife, out of all of anything you think of, I pretty much driven through it in Wyoming. Okay, but let's say your trash comes to a standstill. Hopefully it's at nighttime, it's easier to see. But okay, it's just at nighttime. Obviously you want to keep space. This is like, from me to this guy in front of me, this is the space I like to use. This is about, well, he's about 800 feet, 900 feet. But honestly, it depends on the speed. You want to keep at least, depending on the speed, at least 6 to 7 seconds. Because you want to keep your room to like maneuver around. Let's say if you wipes out, you want to be able to have room to get off it. Like if you're at highway speeds, you would drive at highway speeds. You better all of a sudden he loses traction and he spins out. Okay? Now, you gotta think in mind. The biggest thing you gotta keep in mind when it comes to a stop, other than not braking too hard or doing any sudden, maneuvers, unless you really have to, always take evasive action if you can. It's always a better. Alright, but let's go back to the example. Okay, so how I'm thinking about is him coming off it. Can't always shake. So stab braking is your best bet. Stab braking is always the best bet. Just take it the longest you can to lose as much speed. That's the best way to say it. Take it as long as you can to lose as much speed. Just assuming you have the ability to do that. And if you gotta avoid something, avoid it. Like even that means putting yourself in the ditch. It's better to put yourself in a ditch. You most likely keep your job, as long as you don't roll it. As long as you don't hit somebody. Granted, if you guys put in a ditch, you're falling too close. But that doesn't mean that one white car all of a sudden it's a loose traction and swerves into your lane, and there is certain situations like that. But general rule of thumb is if you gotta avoid something, it's always a better idea to put it in the ditch. Take yourself out, not others. But okay, so you're not avoiding anything. You're just sitting here, still braking. Now, are you empty? Are you loaded? Are you half loaded? What is your weight? That's the biggest question you gotta think about when you're stopping. Why does that matter? Because if it's icy, you don't want to be empty. I'd say under 30. Stopping in the lane like you're driving on it. You need to position yourself so you don't get stuck when you need to roll again. This happens to a ton of people, and it makes the standstill after it ends a pain in the ass to get out of, because you have to kind of like bounce around people who are stuck. So how can you position yourself? Okay. Put your drives on the rumbles. Why do you do this? Because the rumbles won't have compacted ice on them. They'll probably have a lot of rocks and gravels and salt and sand from the clouds. So you put your rumbles on them, or you put your drives on them. That way, if you need to get rolling again, it's a lot easier to get rolling. It still may take a couple seconds to get going, but it will make it less of a headache. There was one spot in Wyoming last year, well, not last year, but this year, it was back in like March, April, where I was 44,000 pounds, and even with that strategy, it still took me about a second and a half to actually get a little bit of the oomph grabbed, or the tires finally trying to grab onto a little bit of something to get rolling. But yeah, see, the reason why you put your, if you did that, let's say in the grooves of the road where most of the ice pulls up, you're stuck. You're probably stuck, and if you're lucky enough to get out of it, it's gonna take you a bit of a work. Just like you should have some kitty litter. Buy some kitty litter. That's the greatest thing. I would buy the one with a little screw cap. Buy a couple of those. Keep them where in your boxes. Why do you do this? Let's say you're right there and you're stuck. What you do then is you would pour it. You would pour that some of that litter in front of your drive, so it keeps it under, and then on top. So when the wheels are spinning, it kind of flings it a little bit down below you, down up in front of you, and that would help keep it rolling. You don't need a lot. You do need a decent amount though. This would help you in the worst case scenario. Because do you really want to chain it? If the kid litter can get you rolling again, you don't need to chain. Don't need to. Just like have a shovel. Like a little camping shovel, a little portable one. Let's say you're stuck in snow. Dig yourself a little path. Because, you can get yourself out of snow. It just may take some, work digging yourself a path little by little. You're going to get frustrated. Okay, what else we got to worry about? It gets cold. It gets very cold in the winter. Especially out here in the mountains. And especially in the wind. It can be 0 degrees and feel warmer than what it is. The wind will freeze you. So get a good beanie, something that covers you pretty much most of your head. So you're gonna want something that also has a very good. You get with paper. So don't go to Walmart and buy like the $10 beanie. You get with paper. You want something with a liner, and it's like double insulated pretty much. It's like has a liner, like something like the down alternative or something. Even if it's like wool or something, because that helps. If it's a thicker beanie, it helps you keep you warm. You're not gonna want those winter gloves you find at Walmart, because those aren't gonna really work well for trucks. Well, you're gonna want some work gloves that are insulated. These aren't gonna keep you warm too well. They're only a stopgap, but you're gonna want those, especially if you're outside fueling up or cleaning your windshield, because your windshield's gonna get filthy in the winter, and you're gonna go through windshield washer fluid like crazy. So you're gonna want some insulated gloves. You're gonna want 2 coats. You're gonna want a soft shell, which is like a spring coat. But the reason why it's soft shell, and you want something that's form fitting, because the way you stay warm is you want things that hug your body, keeps the heat closer to you. That's usually how you stay warm. Your hands, your feet, and your ears. Really your head, but your ears. Your weakest. Think of it this way: your lowest fat. The parts of your body with the lowest fat need to be protected the most. And why is that? Because if you protect your weakest parts of your body, you'll stay, you'll stay comfortable longer. It's not gonna warm you, but you'll stay more comfortable before you start getting colder. Because the number one things that go from frostbite are your toes and your fingers. There's a reason for that. And frostbite can happen in like a minute or two. Don't think a frostbite was not going to happen to you. If you're unprotected and you're out there in exposed temperatures for long, there's somebody got frostbite while I went for 30 seconds. It's just that cold. It was to 30, 60 mile an hour winds, and they had frostbite. I don't remember if they saved the finger, but it was a little bit frostbite. It was to the first knuckle on the finger. I don't remember if he got lucky enough to keep his finger, or keep that part of the finger. I don't remember. But so yeah, frostbite will happen. That's what I'm saying. You want some good pair of gloves, beanies, wool socks. Wool socks are expensive, but they're worth it. They're more in the case of, because they can also work as gloves too if they need to. They're not gonna be the greatest at it, but they can. But those will cost you about $20 for 2 pairs. Don't cheap out on wool socks. You definitely get what you pay for. You're gonna want a good pair of boots. Your boots for the winter don't need to be ankle high. They don't need to be full calf. Sneaker, below the ankle joint works. As long as the biggest thing is they want track. You gotta have some good soles on them, stiff soles. They cannot be breathable. They cannot be breathable. Leather is fine. I understand leather breathes. But what I'm saying about breathable, they can no mesh. Because they got to be able to help keep that heat in. Like my boots I'm wearing now, I have a cold resistance, cold tolerance built up. But these are not the greatest, and even my feet get cold during the winter. Because these are hiking boots. So they have some mesh over around the toe area to help the toes breathe. But then you're going to want a good winter coat. And what do I call a good winter coat? You want something like a ski coat. You want something where it has the glove liner. It comes out of the wrist on the coat. It has a thumb hole, and it sits over your wrist. This helps when you're wearing gloves to keep the water going up, or the snow going up into your arms, into your wrists, getting down to the glove. Because wet gloves are not warm. Wet gloves, your glove's useless. If it gets wet on the inside, it's useless now. You gotta wait till it dries to have any use out of it. Okay? Have a detachable hood. That's important. Because you won't always need your beanie. A detachable hood needs to have the liner on it. The same thing, same rules apply to your hood that it did to the beanie. It needs to have a liner. This jacket also needs to have a liner. I would say along the side of your ribs. Not really necessarily the arms, but the back, if you can, the back, and if you can, right behind the front pocket area. So like where your coat pockets would be, somewhere in that area. You don't need a full liner, because in all coats you won't find a full liner, but it needs to have it in those areas. Because those areas is usually where the stitching is. So it helps, because the stitching is where you're going to lose a lot of your heat. The stitching is not going to be fully insulated. So you're going to have some leaking of heat, and it's going to make you, get colder quicker. So you want that, the liner helps keep you warm. I would also buy a bulk of hand warmers, those little like chemical pouches things. They're not really chemical, but they are. I mean, they're little packets that you kind of like either rub together or you'll kind of like snap, and they'll activate the warmer in it, and then you can either hold in your hand. They do get very toasty, or you can put it in your glove. If you can find gloves that have like the hand warmer pouch, good. Don't let it be on the bottom of the glove. You want it on top of your glove, top of your hand. Shit. Let me fix the camera. Where'd it go? God damn it. This thing doesn't want to cooperate. And the one batch of road, it's like, throw it. I'll buy a new camera mount here soon, very, very soon. Okay, well, that one really fucked up my thing. Alright, that's gonna have to work. And what the hell was I saying? I just got blasted by the sun in the face. My face is a little warm now. Okay, I would also probably keep. You're gonna want some emergency food. Not necessarily for you, but there's times you'll come across this. You're stranded on the road for. This is a good possibility. You can get stranded on the road for a few days. And I'm talking about there's nothing near. So you're gonna want some food. Just in case the cars around you get hungry. Little story. Even if it's like a thing of Pop-Tarts, like a big old case of Pop-Tarts, something you can help this time over. But a little story. Back in, April in Wyoming, there's this Highway 387 north of Rawlins. There's a junction called Muddy Gap. Don't ask me why it's called Muddy Gap, I have no idea. I can probably look it up, no idea. But the junction, when the I-80 got shut down for 4 days, that junction was shut down for 7. There was a gas station where most people were stranded at, ran out of gas in 3 days. There was like 70 people there. They ran out of food in about 3.5. And this gas station was giving away free food. So, I mean, they were trying to help these people. But your job as a trucker, I'm of this opinion. Like, a lot of people don't understand. It's like, we are supposed to help protect people out here on the road. Don't let people go hungry out here. If you just give them a fucking Pop-Tart, you literally, like, go to Sam's Club, Costco, whatever, get the big old box of like 20 Pop-Tarts, $8 a boy. that's sure gonna break you. Keep a couple of those in there during the winter. They'll last all winter. If you don't, they don't eat them, you eat them. And trust me, the winter can be fucking crazy sometimes. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about when you're going down a mountain. Let's say talk 6% grade, like Vail into Denver. Okay, then let's assume then that you don't feel comfortable jigging. Okay, so how do you descend that mountain? Let's assume you're in an auto transmission. Same thing applies in manual transmission, but let's assume you're in an auto transmission. You pop that into manual. When I was training, I actually got thrown into the wolves one time when I, luckily my trainer, you know, like he was comfortable enough with me. He realized that I knew what I was doing. But, well, I do. It's a load of shit under me. But, he knew what I was doing. And I asked, you know, a couple days ago, I made sure that I knew what I was going to do. So, I mean, he was assured that I was going to be ready for it. But, so you drop it down to manual. If it's icy, I'd probably go down it. I'd find the gear, depending on, you know, how many gears you have, 6 to 8. I would go down no faster than 35. And if it gets 35, you stab brake down. You stab brake to about 25. And it's, because if you're heavy enough, that manual RPM isn't going to hold you itself. And if you downshift enough, that it's going to be screaming at you. So if you're too heavy, you're definitely going to need stab brake. But if you're light enough, the manual RPM, the manual brake itself should hold you decently well. But either way, you're still going to stab brake, and it's gonna feel, you're gonna get white knuckled. You're gonna be a little, you know, nervous. But hey, I mean, if you're not nervous descending a mountain, descending down an icy mountain, even if you know what you're doing, I'd be scared myself being around you. Because there's too much gonna change or happen. If you're nervous, you're paying more attention. At least you should be. But I'm trying to see it. Winter is here. Winter is definitely here. I mean, Wyoming's already got dumped on. So it is in Colorado. So I mean, hell, within a month we're gonna start seeing snow. Mountains are starting to get snow. I mean, it's a little late than it was last year. When I say last year, I mean sort of like September to August 2019, when mountains were getting dumped on. But winter is here, and for those that don't know, you know, don't know the winter life, really is what it is. This is a winter life, man. It takes some getting used to. It takes some experience, and the only way to get experience is you gotta experience it yourself. So the winter is here, man. Remember, space, and speed. Don't just because the guy flies by you at 70 and you're on 50 doesn't mean you're in the wrong. So remember, space just slows out. Watch your speed. And don't be part of the jumbled mess of scrap that's gonna happen when these people start wrecking. So remember, slow down, watch your speed, and stay safe out there.